Good morning, YouTube. This is Shayla from Making Lemonade from Lemons. I have a couple of buddies here, some bees. I haven't seen a ton of bees yet this year, but we're starting to get more, so that's good. This morning I figured that I would try to fix some of my messes. So I'm going to stake up some of my tomatoes and try to fix some of these poles that are leaning. I'll show you what I'm gonna do. I have a couple of my children here who are gonna help me out. Hi. Oh, wow, that's Evan, and yes, he likes to make funny faces. He thinks that everything's funny. Okay, so on this one right here, I'm gonna have to basically I've got a new stake, and we're gonna get that in and tie it up because it's all leaning over. So we're gonna get started on that, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we got the stake in. That's my son Nick, and we're gonna tie this to it. I use a sticky tape that, here you go, Evan, you can help me and break off some of that and give to Nick so that he can, you want to give him a pretty decent sized piece.
Yep.
So with these poles that I talked a little bit about yesterday, the green poles, okay, that's good. You don't have to tie it like super tight.
I know.
Next time, tie that around tie it around the pole, the bamboo stake, and
try and get it to the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after you do that, then tie up the top. That kind of just will support it a little bit better.
Okay.
Okay?
No, hold this one right here. Hold the plant. Hold it straight. Thank you.
Yeah, like that. Good job. So, yes, I have my kids out here help me quite a bit. The poles, like I was going to talk about, sorry, I got off topic. The green poles are lighter weight than the furring strips. The furring strips are actually pretty heavy, and that's one of the reasons that I decided that I wanted to go with the green tomato stakes instead, because they're lighter weight. And so in these grow bags, there's not as deep of soil, so you can't put the stakes quite as deep. So there's enough soil to hold up the green stakes, but not really enough soil to hold up those heavy furring strips. That's the only reason that I don't like the furring strips. I do like that they are inexpensive and they're tall enough. Everything is great with them, except they're just so heavy. So we're going to get this one tied up. I'm going to get the branch tied up. So we're going to get we're going to get some of our bamboo stakes and do that, and we'll be right back. So the branch that is laying down, we're going to have a bamboo pole that's right there, and we're going to lift that up and tie it. Like I said, that's a sucker that got away from me. You know, I normally prune my suckers, but it just kind of got away from me, and it's already set fruit. And so I could technically take that off and root it and have another plant, but at this point in time, I'm out of grow bags, and so I'm just gonna let it grow like it is. It seems to be happy to grow. I'm just gonna leave it as is.
You want me to get a little lower?
No, it's fine. You can just do. They do pretty good with instructions. It's great. You can just do like right there.
Okay.
And do one more.
Yep.
Sorry.
There's one more.
Hey, Ev, hand me another one.
One more.
Okay, Evan, you can come over here and help me a minute because Nick's got that one. So we're going to go over here and we're going to stake up this pepper plant. This Cubanelle. Okay. Alright. Yeah, this Cubanelle, it's got a pretty good load of Cubanelle peppers on it. So
Look at that giant one right there.
yeah, it looks good. Alright.
That one looks like it when it was. Oh, we have one right here that's giant. You got a baby one right in there.
Yes, as you can see, he really enjoys looking at all the stuff too. Okay, do me a favor and go ahead and put the stake in right by the right there. Nope, a little bit closer to the plant. Yep, right about in there. Okay, all right. Here you go. Hold it, and you can tie it up for me. Good job, boys. Excuse me, my voice cracked. It's all the pollen in the air.
Yeah.
I read my phone and it's supposed to be like crazy this afternoon.
Look at the baby. Look at the baby Cubanelle.
Look at the babies.
I know there's lots of them and they're still blossoming really well. So that's why we want to get them tied up and supported so that they do well.
Can we get lower too? Or get some
No,
like that?
you can do one down a little bit lower. Yeah. That'll help it to grow back straight. It's been laying over for a couple of days, so these are my potatoes in bags. I had one other bag that was sitting right there that had potatoes in them. And what I did was I went ahead because one of the vines was dying off like that. And I was just curious to see what was in it. I couldn't wait any longer. Basically, that's all it was. I couldn't wait any longer. So we dumped the bag out when we got the potatoes out, and we had a decent harvest, considering they were new potatoes, basically. Yeah, go ahead and do those as well.
You got?
I'm probably gonna have to get some more of those, but anyways, and so one of the things that I read about harvesting potatoes is that whenever the vines are like that, they're still, you can harvest them and they would be considered new potatoes. The smaller size potatoes, probably about this or sometimes this big. Okay. And we had two in the other bag that were a good size. They were probably, I would say, a large potato actually. But once the vines die off, according to what I've read, and we'll see if that's true with these two bags. Like I said, everything here for me is an experiment. I've never grown in containers, grow bags or anything, so everything is an experiment for me. So,
I guess that's why you could call it a mess.
yeah, so that's part of the reason it's a mess, but it's a beautiful mess. Hey Nick, do me a favor and go and grab that bag of soil.
Okay, I was going to get this one.
Okay, you can go ahead and grab that. Yeah, you can go ahead and grab that one. That's compost, but
So which
it's
one?
fine.
That one?
This one first. We're gonna. Oops, sorry.
Watery.
Yeah, it got water on.
Yeah, because it's been outside. So we're gonna straighten this one up. So Evan, you need to hold that.
Hold it
Okay.
like this.
And you're gonna put a decent amount of the soil in there. Probably.
The whole bag?
I wouldn't say the whole bag, but the majority of it anyways. That's how we're gonna fix that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about the only way that we can fix it. But just do it around the stake and the tomato plant itself. Okay. There's no need to go around the marigold that's in there. I'm sorry, I know the lighting is a little bit off. Back to the potatoes, sorry. So what I was reading was that if you let the vines die off and wait for about 2 weeks after the vines are already dead, then the potatoes will be full size. So that's what we're gonna try with these 2 bags of potatoes. So we'll see how that goes. You got it, Nick?
Yeah. It's just...
Yeah, you're probably gonna need to put more than that in there.
I know. I'm trying.
Yeah, you can just just pack it in as good as possible. Yeah, you might be able to use that whole thing. The more dirt there is, the more support for that stake. And since that stake is really heavy, put a lot of it on this side.
Okay.
I need to cook. Put all this.
I'm trying to be careful of this one stem right here.
It's nice.
I know.
This is nice.
Here, I'll hold that for you
Thank you.
while you do that. See, my boys help me out a lot. Up.
Now you covered for them.
Nope, it's okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it's falling out. It's okay.
Flattened.
Most plants are pretty forgiving. Yep, just smash it in there. As long as you're not actually breaking them off.
Oh, wow, still,
It's a little bit. Here, pack it in, Evan.
Here, I'll try this.
This plant is one. This one is a boxcar Willie tomato plant, and it actually has not set any fruit yet.
Do you want me to put more dirt in it?
I think that we're okay for now. We'll see how that holds up.
One's right there.
Up. Okay, so we have one now, which is nice. And I was actually really pretty worried about this plant because almost all my others have lots of tomatoes on it, and it just really is not, this one has not been producing like the others at this point. And it actually looks like it's starting to green back up. It was yellowing and stuff, so I'm pretty happy with that. All right, you're going to need to get the other bag of soil, Nick. so that you can do the other one that's right beside it. We're going to get those taken care of, and then we'll be back. So, with the help of my kids, I've already gotten those two. I had to get my hands in the dirt to help get the second one stabilized. So right now they're pretty stable. But like I said, my kids are good helpers. So now my oldest one is staking up the my Amish paste tomato plant that's getting extremely big. So my oldest one, Nick is 14, so he's going to be going to driver's education soon. Ugh. And Evan, yes, he's my youngest, and he is 10. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about my tomato plants. I already told you about the boxcar willy, and here's another boxcar willy plant that has done pretty good in setting fruit. So I'm super happy. This will be the first time I've tried the boxcar willy, and so I'm excited about that. And here are this is Brad's Atomic grape, and this is what they kind of look like in the beginning stages. I've got some really big ones down here. Let's see if you can see them. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see them, but they're pretty. They're green and purple, and they haven't started turning yet. And then here's one of my tomatillo plants that it's not really producing much in the way of tomatillos. It's got lots and lots of blossoms, but I have another tomatillo plant that has tons of tomatillos on it. And this one is one of my paste tomato plants, and to be completely honest, I don't even remember which one this is. So this one is a we'll see what it is. But it's got little tomatoes on it. Probably Roma. I'm thinking Roma. Yes, babe.
Which vine? This one or this one? Let me try.
That one right there. Yeah.
The one that's staring up.
Yep. Yep. We just need to start tying. Okay, so this one is a Better Boy, one of my other Better Boy plants. These are good for slicing on sandwiches, and they're good for canning regular tomatoes, but they have they're really juicy, and they've got lots of seeds, and so that's why I decided, to be completely honest, tomatoes are the whole reason that I decided to start a garden to begin with. And specifically the paste tomatoes, because I want to do sauce. Hey, Isaac. This is my middle son. He is going to be 12 soon.
I just want to see the watermelon. Thank you very much.
Yep, it's getting big. And he is, I homeschool my children. So, they're with me all the time, but they're very helpful. So,
for all you parents out there, you must be wondering how she does it.
Yes, sometimes I wonder how I do it too, because they drive me crazy sometimes. All right.
Sometimes.
Yes, every day. These are These are my San Marzano, and in the very beginning, I had, if you look at this branch, I had a lot of the tomatoes that ended up with blossom end rot, and I think it was because while they were setting, I was out of town, and so I wasn't here to water them. So they had inconsistent watering while I was gone. My dad watered the plants a couple of times, but not like I water them. So, so I took off the ones that had the blossom end rot, and the others look perfectly fine.
You want to straighten this one up?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Nick. And then this one is a Rutgers. And this one is one of my Better Boy tomatoes. Like I said, this is a F1 hybrid. And I talked a little bit about in the last video, the F1 hybrids are tomatoes that if you try to save seeds from that plant to grow tomatoes next year, you're not going to get the same tomato. So you just kind of have to buy seeds for those. And this one is a black cherry tomato plant, intermixed in with the tomatillo over here. The black cherry are setting, and we're excited about trying these. Never tried these before, and in fact, the majority of the tomatoes that we have, we've never tried them before, except for the Better Boy. The Better Boy are the only ones that I'm growing that I know what they're like. And again, that's why this is an experiment. This plant, this tomatillo plant, is the one that I'm actually getting the tomatillos on. I'm getting a couple of tomatillos on this plant here, but not like the other tomatillo plant. And there's my forget-me-nots that I have planted in with that tomatillo plant. My squash plant really has not done very well for me. I have one that's growing there. First one that actually is growing and has been fertilized, pollinated, I mean. All the others that I had, they didn't get pollinated, and so they just dropped off. You can tie up any of the ones that need to be tied up, Nick. And this one is the, that's my sugar baby, and it's getting pretty heavy. So I'm probably going to have to make a hammock for it pretty soon. It's starting to pull my cage over, so I'm going to have to put stakes in here to hold the cage up, give it some support. And then there's my nasturtiums blooming. I love that color. It's an Alaskan salmon, and it's got the variegated leaves, and I really just love the variegated leaves, and then the blooms, that color bloom is really pretty. And then these are also San Marzanos, and they're doing really good. My purple Russians are the biggest, and I have these are Romas, and this Roma plant is doing really good. I have one Roma plant that is not doing so good, and it's just really little.
had
Yes.
3 plants.
Okay, you can tie this one and see if you can get it to stay up a little bit. Okay, and this is another San Marzano. I grew several of the San Marzano and the Romas because I was told that they are really, really good for sauce. And I really want to make my own sauce. I'm trying to become more self-sufficient and not have to buy as much in the way of produce and that kind of thing. Here's one of my Rutgers tomatoes. It's doing pretty good too. This one is one of my purple Russians. And the purple Russians have these wispy type leaves and they look kind of sparse. Sorry about that. That was a glitch. And this is the wind blowing, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see very well. These are apalkas, and I also got these from the M.I. Gardener website. Like I said, I will link his site in the description because he's got a great website. He sells very reasonably priced seeds, and his videos have lots of great advice. Anyways, so that's it for today. I know it's still messy. We still have a lot of work to do. I still have more poles to buy, and there's one pole that's still leaning over that we've got to fix. But it's getting there, a little bit at a time. That's all I can do, a little bit at a time. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you liked it, then if you could just hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button, and I would appreciate it. Thanks so much. Bye.